Welcome to the Open to Hope show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my friend and co-host, Alan Pedersen, Executive Director of the Compassionate Friends. Well, Alan, it's always so great to do shows with you, and I love the Compassionate Friends.
Well, likewise. I love doing shows with Open to Hope. And, you know, generally our shows are centered around something I have a slight command of, but today I know nothing about what we're doing, so I'm going to learn a lot today, but I'm very excited about it. So what is our show about today?
Absolutely. We're going to be talking today about yoga. And we're going to start out with laughter yoga, and we're going to end up talking about physical yoga. And we are going to have my daughter on for the physical yoga.
Yes.
And you haven't met her. And she runs a yoga studio in Redwood City, California. So I'm excited about having her meet you because you've met Heidi many times.
Yes,
Vibe
Yoga. I love the name.
Vibe Yoga in Redwood City. So we're going to have her on, and then you're going to sing us out of the show.
I am.
And then we really are going to start with something fun, which is laughter yoga, and introduce our guest for that.
Well, our guest for that is Linda Shively, and she's the co-chapter leader of one of our Compassionate Friend chapters in Santa Clara, California. But more importantly, she's Jessica's mom, and
I think we got a picture of Jessica, don't we?
Yeah, let's show a picture of Jessica.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about Jessica and a little bit about your journey.
So Jessica was a vibrant little girl, and she was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy when she was just 3 months old. And the doctors said she wouldn't survive to her first birthday, which as a new parent is really hard to hear.
Right, of course.
And she thankfully survived to almost 4 and just had so much joy and brought so much joy to everyone that she met, and continues to bring joy through the people that I have met since she has died. And I loved laughing with her, and there was a time where it was really tough to laugh.
Yeah. Did you know that babies laugh like 450 times a day? And guess what? How many times do you think an adult laughs?
Not 450, except for my family. When they were
How many do you think?
I'd say 100.
Yeah, try 25.
Wow.
If you're lucky.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
And usually you have to have something that is funny. You have to see something funny, hear something funny, have comedy. And so adults, I don't know what happens. You know, do you see little kids running around? They're laughing at everything.
Yeah. So you laughed with her, and of course the first, few years you weren't laughing?
Well, yeah, it's tough after you lose a child. I mean, there's not a whole lot to laugh about.
Right. And so what got you into this idea of laughter yoga?
I found it at a conference that I attended. Somebody was running a workshop, and I thought, this is really cool. You just get to laugh for no reason, just for fun. And the instructor was saying, you know, people think I'm crazy, you know, that I'm out of my head or out of my mind. And it's like, that's the point. You get out of your mind. You're just in your body, you're just laughing. And when you're laughing, you can't be thinking about the sadness. You can't be thinking about all the other 10,000 lists of projects that you have. It's simple.
And you're taking a lot of oxygen when you laugh.
And that's the yoga part of the laughter. Because when you laugh, you tend to take a breath in and then extend the laugh out. And so the breath work is the yoga part of laughter yoga.
So the laughter is the best medicine is true after all?
It is true. And that's Dr. Madan Kataria in India about 20 years ago was writing an article about laughter yoga. And he thought, if this is really as good as it seems, why aren't we doing this regularly, prescribing it to our patients, like you must laugh? And so he started getting people together in a park and laughing. And they started out telling jokes, and that worked for a while, and then they decided they needed to do it just with the intention of laughter. And his wife is a yoga instructor, and she said, well, it's all about the breathing.
Mm-hmm. So give us, are you going to teach us how to laugh?
You know how to laugh. Just laugh for no reason.
And you don't have to wear yoga pants to
You
yoga
do not
laugh.
have to wear. You
Gosh.
can be wearing a suit. You can be wearing a dress.
And we can
matter.
sit?
You can sit. You can
Really?
stand. It doesn't matter.
All right.
I mean, if you have a hernia, I don't recommend it. And if you have other health issues that would contraindicate laughter, then be careful.
Right.
But otherwise, just laugh. Just.
That was pretty good. I do feel better.
And if you extend the laughter for about
Right.
10 minutes,
Oh my gosh, 10 minutes, yeah. That could be incredible.
It's
Now, is
incredible.
it structured? Like, I mean, is there certain kinds of laughs, barrel laughs, or just however you do it naturally? Or what?
However you do it naturally. There are some so-called exercises that they do, but it's a lot like improv, where you can make up
Right.
as you go along.
Okay.
It's a lot less structured than what we're going to see later with what your daughter's doing. And the typical yoga, you don't have to sit in pretzel poses. You don't have to have fantastic physical shape. Anybody can do it.
You were looking at me when you said that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
How long have you been doing this? And what are the benefits? If I'm somebody who this sounds ridiculous to try, tell me how's it going to benefit me, or how has it benefited you really?
Well, the benefit is it releases the endorphins,
Right.
and it is a release, just like crying
Right.
is a release. And for those of us who are grieving, we need that release, because if you're just stuck and you're not letting those emotions flow,
Right.
and if you laugh, it releases all of it.
Now I have to say, one of the things about laughter, I remember after my son was killed, we, this movie Tootsie, I don't know if you remember that old movie, Alan,
Great
and
movie.
you remember it, Linda, and we heard there was a funny movie, okay? And so we went 60 miles away from home to a movie theater to watch it, because heavens knows we didn't want anybody to think that we weren't grieving.
Yeah.
So there's that shame in laughter
And
when you first start out.
And sometimes, I mean, even in Compassionate Friends, we say, you may hear people laughing and take it as a sign of hope.
I like that. Take it as a sign
Well,
of
I
hope.
think grieving people, we possess a very special skill that a lot of people don't have. We literally can laugh and cry at the same time, but we can move in it. We really can.
Yeah.
And I've always been a big believer, seriously, in laughter. I've always been a big believer, because I believe that. And to stay down in that darkest part of grief, you can't stay there all the time. And if this helps bring you out a little bit, then I think it is very healing.
Well, in our Compassionate Friends meeting, if there is just some little something that is funny, there is a huge
Right.
laugh, because people need that
Right.
relief. And I think it's a delicate balance. And so people who choose to attend a laughter yoga session are doing it with intention. They know that they're going to get some benefit
And
from
so
it.
to Gloria's point, then maybe the first step is to give ourselves permission to laugh.
Give
even?
yourself permission. And it's for no reason.
Right.
You don't have to go see a funny movie. You don't have to read the funnies in the paper. You don't have to watch YouTube clips. You can actually just laugh.
I remember the first time I laughed after Scott died, and my husband was in the Wall Street Journal of all things, and he didn't tell me that. And I opened it up, and there was a picture of him, and I started to laugh. And it was so interesting, because I didn't realize I hadn't laughed, and it was like the tinkling of a bell. It was the sweetest sound, which was kind of amazing. So tell us now, if we go to your laughter yoga, we're just going to do what we do? We're just going to all stand around and laugh?
We're
or how
going to
does it
stand
go?
around and laugh. We're going to move around. We're going to, if someone is unable to move, they can stay seated. But we do interactive, because part of it is the connection.
Right.
Looking into each other's eyes, making that connection, in addition to the laughter. And then at the end, we will laugh continuously for about 5 or 10 minutes. and then go into a meditation.
Oh, I love it.
And it's so relaxing.
And you're going to be at the Compassionate Friends National Conference
She
and
is.
do a laughter yoga class in Phoenix, Arizona in July.
In July.
And at the Fairmont Hotel. And we hope that everybody will come and join Linda and do some laughter yoga. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
And
you.
now, Alan, we're going to go over and you're going to see some physical yoga.
This is the.
All right.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
Hi, Rebecca.
Alan.
Hi, Alan. Hi.
How are
to see
you?
you.
Wow.
Good to see you both.
And Grace.
Grace.
Thank you very much for coming. Now, Rebecca, tell us, I've done yoga for many years, as you know, but tell us the benefits of yoga, because, when I started doing it, we were kind of, talking about yoga 30 years ago or whatever, but now they're actually doing research on it.
Yeah, there's actually some recent research that has just come out that shows that the practice of yoga changes the brain chemistry.
Wow.
And so yoga helps with relaxation, it helps you think a little more clearly. You just feel better generally overall. You're able to make clear decisions, and you're also able to get in touch with how you're feeling and what's going on for you in your physical body.
Yeah.
So if you have an ailment that's coming up, you're more aware of it.
And we have a picture of your brother Scott we're going to show, because
Right.
I think that's one of the things that's helped our whole family through
Absolutely.
the trauma of losing him.
Moving
is yoga.
moving in the body and focusing on breath.
Great. Now you're going to Grace is going to work with you. You're going to
Yes.
show us 8 poses, and then
Yes.
Alan's going to sing a little
Yeah.
down the road. We'll talk about that after.
So Grace is starting here in mountain pose. So it's a very simple pose. All you do is stand firmly on your 2 feet, arms alongside your body, and relax the shoulders, and then take deep breaths into your chest. Because when we grieve, we tend to breathe very shallow. So just taking some deep breaths and visualize a mountain, the strength of a mountain. So just finding strength. It's
And
very
how
simple.
long, like on a pose like that, would you stay?
As long or as short as you would like.
So you're.
It could be, a few seconds.
So somebody who has never done yoga, like myself and
Yeah.
anybody. So
Go
if you
ahead,
did-
Alan, you
no,
can just stand.
no, I'm
Just
not
stand-
saying,
just
no, but
stand
you're
in
saying it
mountain
is
pose.
for
Yeah.
beginners. You
Yes.
don't have to.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right.
just stand in mountain pose. The next pose she's going to do is just a half moon pose, where she's just going to reach her arms overhead and move the body side to side. So again, when we grieve, we tend to sort of collapse in our shoulders and our chest, and it's hard to get breath into the body, and we get stiff because we don't move. So it's just moving side to side.
Right.
Very easy, very gentle movement side to side. And then Grace will come back into center, and she will do a pose called tree pose. So this is a balancing pose, and so she's going to take the version where she just keeps her toes on the mat. You can take the legs high, the lifted leg higher if you would like, if you've got better balance. But what I like about balancing poses, you have to be very focused, single point of focus. And so you're able to get very calm here, and there's no other distractions going on to help with your
One thing I
balance.
like about this, Alan, is we have this monkey mind after we've had a loss, and just doing some of these slow body, even though your mind's still going
Right.
and you're not able to meditate, because sometimes you just can't hop into meditation, but this gives you something you can do.
Yeah, and then you can switch. You can do the other leg as well. And notice maybe one side feels a little easier or more difficult than the other. And again, so it's getting you deep into concentration and, again, getting rid of the monkey mind. So very simple. And you hold as long or as short as you would like. There's no time limit. And then the next pose Grace will do is a forward fold. So she's just going to stand and fold over. And maybe she'll let her arms go, or maybe she'll grab her elbows, opposite hand to opposite elbow. Maybe she'll sway the body side to side. So forward folds are very calming. And people have a hard time folding. You can bend your knees if that's hard, or keeping your legs straight, either way. But when you fold forward, it just changes everything in the body. We tend, again, to carry a lot of stress and tension, especially when we're grieving. And so coming into a forward fold and just breathing here. And thinking about tension and stress rolling off the back, rolling out of the body. So again, very, very simple. And you can even do it in a chair. You can sit in a chair and just fold your body over. So making it very simple. And then Grace is going to come down onto the yoga mat. And you can come down onto a rug. You don't need a yoga mat, or to the floor. And she's going to start with some dynamic bridge poses. So just placing her feet down, hips down, and she's going to reach her arms up overhead as she lifts her hips up. And then she's going to lower down on her exhale, arms alongside the body. So again, what happens when we're grieving, we tend to collapse in our chest.
Right.
And so this is a heart opener, so it opens up your heart. And again, it's important to bring breath into the chest as well. And so you can do it as quickly or as slow as you would like. And so she's inhaling when she lifts her hips, and she's exhaling when she lowers down. And then it feels good to keep your hips lifted. She can lift her hips up. She can support her hips with her hands if she would like. If you have a block or something, or a bolster or a pillow to put under your hips, you can do that. And that just can be a little more of a restorative pose where you just can relax and hang out here, and then focus on breathing deep into the chest. Again, because we tend to collapse on our chest when we're grieving. I'm going to take a couple of breaths there. And then lowering on down. And then she's going to come into a spinal twist. It's important, again, to keep movement in the spine and fluidity in the spine and the body. So she's going to take just one knee to the chest and take the knee to the opposite side. And then she's going to look over the other shoulder. And this is just a really, really nice stretch. You could do this in your bed in the morning when you wake up. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you wake up, you know,
I like
maybe,
the bed thing.
Right.
Yeah, you wake up with, oh my gosh, my child is dead. You know, that's the first thought that comes up in the morning after we've just lost someone. And so just even lying in your bed and doing this spinal twist is really powerful. And then she can switch sides. And then maybe your body feels not quite as stiff as when you get out of bed. And so the other side just takes the knee to the opposite side and the head away from the knee. And focusing on breathing when you do this as well. Calming, long breaths. And then she's going to come back to center, and then she's going to take her knees to her chest and hug her knees to her chest. Just giving yourself a hug. And again, you could do this in the morning. Wake up, giving yourself a hug, telling yourself positive thoughts, things that are going well in your life.
I don't think my knees have seen my chest since like 1993.
And so the other thing to do is take your knees a little farther away, or maybe your knees
Further
towards your
away.
armpits.
Yeah.
Or you can use your belt from your robe.
And even you don't even have to hold on to your knees. You can keep your arms
Just
down
rock.
and just rock your body side to side. And rocking is very, very calming. And if you see babies, you see babies grabbing their feet and rocking back and forth. And like you were talking about laughter yoga, they grab their feet and they laugh and rock back and forth. So it's very calming and soothing.
So Rebecca, so Vibe Yoga is in Redwood City, California
Yes.
now. Do you work with people at all levels of
All
yoga?
levels,
So
all levels, going through all different things in their lives.
Right.
Many people come to yoga for healing.
Right.
So yes, all practices, all styles of yoga help with this. This is the final yoga pose that we
You
do.
like this final pose, Al.
This is
want to
Alan's
say this.
favorite
I've
pose
been doing this
that
one
everyone
about
can
8.5
do.
hours a night, and it is extremely beneficial to me.
So this final pose is called Final Shavasana, and you'll find it in every single yoga pose. And it's just completely allowing the body to let go, to completely let go and relax. And in this pose, it's important, again, to let go of the monkey mind, let go of all the wandering thoughts, and let your body completely relax. And you can even do a relaxation in your body and think about relaxing the hands and the arms and the chest and the hips, the legs, down to the toes. And so this is a really important pose to finish up any yoga practice that you do, just to completely let go and relax.
You know, sometimes when I'm really stressed, or like when I've been using the computer, I have a backache or something, I'll just go do this pose on the floor.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a powerful pose.
And I love doing it on the floor because the floor is hard.
Yeah.
And you know, when I first do it, I feel kind of stiff, and your body just kind of melts into the floor when you do it for a few minutes.
Right, yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would do the same thing. I have little back issues and just lay flat. I didn't know I was doing yoga at the time. I thought I was being lazy, but I'll just lay on the floor and same thing, and it does loosen up. And
And so that's another point. I think that people don't need to remember necessarily these 8 poses if there's any way that feels good to move. Just I think it's important when you're deep in the grief process that you do move the body around. You can sit in your chair and you can do spinal twists. You can shake your arms. You can just get up and shake your legs. Just any type of movement of the body. And then breathing. Breathing is really important, just to sit
Because we
and
get into
focus
this
on your
upper
breath.
thing, don't we?
Or sometimes we don't, our breath stays deep in the belly. We don't even bring the breath all the way into the chest. And we have these short, shallow breaths, which causes more sadness and tension. And
so then as a neophyte, is this something we should do every day? I mean, would you recommend that people do it every day or do different types? Or
I would recommend you do it. As the more you do it, the better you'll feel.
Great.
So yeah, I recommend as often as you're able to do it. And practicing any style of yoga that feels good to you. There are a lot of different styles.
And seriously, you know, I think some people think, oh, you know, I've got to do yoga. I'm going to have to take a class and learn all these poses and all that. And, you know, they can watch this video over and over and just pick up a couple of poses that you do, because they're amazing poses for
Well,
relaxation.
it seems like it meets you where you are, so you can
Exactly.
start, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, one of the things I know, Rebecca, that you've heard me say before is allowing yourself to do anything physical after a loss can really be hard at first.
Absolutely.
I mean, the first time I went out and ran, I cried because I
Yeah.
thought my neighbors were looking out the window and saying, look at her, she doesn't care. She doesn't care about anything, you know, she wouldn't be taking care of herself.
First time I went out and ran, I cried too, but for other reasons. I don't know why. I'm feeling in a jolly mood today, but
The other thing about yoga, it can bring up some big emotions as well, a lot of sadness, because you're doing things like heart openers.
Right.
And that can bring up some emotions. And it's okay to cry on your yoga mat, even if you're at a yoga class. It happens often.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you know that when people do yoga, I think it can actually bring up those feelings that they've been holding in.
Kind of the deep emotions that are kind of hidden in our bodies. When we move the bodies around, that starts to come up.
And I get that therapy part too, because even if you look at a lot of the things that are going on in the grief world now, like even like art projects and things, when you get the heart, the mind, and the body working together,
Absolutely.
it can release emotions that you can't necessarily get to by speaking or other. So I was not aware of that before. So I mean, anybody in grief that is into yoga, I have heard nothing but positive about it.
Yeah.
And now to know that the research is there that says this really is something you can do to help you, I think is really powerful information for people to know.
Yes.
You know, and along with this, walking, it is amazing. You know, you can reduce your risk of stroke by 50%
If you
walk every day for 20 minutes.
Wow.
And it doesn't have to
I'm
be
not
fast.
surprised. Yeah.
And you know, I don't think people realize that grief can be very hard on your health.
It is absolutely.
And I have had people tell me that they went too low, you know, with their grief.
Right.
So don't do that. Try to keep yourself up and try to find some things, Tai Chi, yoga.
And again, it
you
can
know.
be very simple. It can be very simple.
Okay, Alan.
Well, I have learned a lot today. Thank you
Great.
guys
Well,
so
thank you
much
both.
for the
And
good
thanks
information.
for watching our show. And Alan, you're going to sing for us a little ways down the road, and we hope that you will watch us again next week and have it go over. And thanks for being on our show.
Thank
and
you.
thank you,
Thank you,
Grace
Alan.
and
For all of our
Rebecca.
guests tonight. Let's go a little farther down the road, and I think our subject matter today really gave you some things that can help you get a little farther down the road, especially if you're new in your grief. I know those tears you're crying. I've been in your shoes. You feel like there's no use in trying, like there's nothing left to lose. You take one step forward, you move 2 steps back. You may not see it now, but it won't always be like that. A little farther down the road, and you'll see the sun again. A little farther down the road, you'll look back at where you've been, and you'll see how far you've come, and you'll find the strength to go. A little farther down the road. This journey is not easy. It's a winding road filled with twists and turns. But you can make it, believe me. In time, you'll learn. A greater love comes from your deepest pain, and there's power in that love to help you rise again. A little farther down the road, and you'll see the sun again. A little farther down the road, you look back at where you've been, and you'll see how far you've come, and you'll find the strength to go. A little farther down the road, it's holding on, it's bittersweet, it's healing slow, then finding peace. A little farther down the road, and you'll see the sun again. A little farther down the road, you look back at where you've been, and you'll see how far you've come, and you'll find the strength to go. A little farther down the road, you'll see how far you've come. A little farther down this road. We got to know the magic of their smiles, if only for a while. And wasn't it beautiful? They taught us how to love so deep, feel so complete. And wasn't it wonderful? And even if we knew that it would end, if we had the chance, we'd do it all again. So we celebrate the children, celebrate our kids, celebrate